They created the problem. They stored stuff where they probably shouldn't, and the CD player got ruined. She called me very upset, wanting me to pay for that CD player. Is that crazy? That's crazy.
Hey everyone, Justin Cooper and Kevin Amolch from Pine Financial Group, where we work together so you succeed. If you like the video on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Today we want to talk about rental leases, specifically 3 important clauses when you're signing up a new tenant. So Kevin, what are some of the clauses that you find really important? I know we've talked about this often. One of them that we've often discussed is month to month. So tell me a little bit more about a month to month clause and why you like that so much.
Yeah, let's spend a little bit of time here, Coop, because I think there's going to be people that disagree with me on this one, but I absolutely think you should do month to month leases with your tenants. Now, if you want to do a 6 or a 12 month to start, maybe that's okay, but definitely want to roll into a month to month. We want to get them on a month to month, and here's why I think. I'm curious what you think as well. On the month to month, I think it protects the land owner or the property owner, landlord, not the tenant. And the reason I say that is based on my experience. Tenants don't give a about you or your lease, and they will break that lease. So they're just going to leave. It doesn't really hold them so much to it in a lot of cases. But you as a landlord, you are going to hold yourself to that lease. You're not going to just kick them out in the middle of a term, right? So having the flexibility to raise rents when you want to, or to remove a tenant when you want to, I think is huge. And that was especially true during COVID and when there was an eviction moratorium for non-payment of rent. If you're on a month to month, you could still get a tenant out of there for an expiration of the lease.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had one tenant on month to month. We started off with a 12-month lease and it rolled into month to month, and she has been an amazing tenant for the past 6 years.
Yeah.
And we continue to go month to month, and when we're both comfortable, rents are raised, we have great communication, and we also both know that we have the flexibility of the month to month.
Yeah. So I like that. It gives me flexibility. I can keep my rents high and I can get a tenant out of there easily if I don't want to.
Great. So the second one I want to talk about is a re-rent fee. So this is something that we've talked a lot about in the office, but go ahead and tell everybody listening a little bit more about what that means.
Yeah, so I think the month to month, it's a little controversial, and some people have it and some people don't, but I think the re-rent fee, people don't understand that one, or they don't use that one. What this says is if you break the lease, there's going to be a fee to break the lease. So I've heard, not an attorney, you can't have it the same amount as your rent because it looks like a rent payment, like an extra month of rent. So what my lease says is, hey, this is a fee of 1 month's rent minus $5, so it's a boilerplate. Whatever I put in for the monthly lease payment, it's a fee of $5 less than that, so it doesn't match. And if a tenant bails on me or they break the lease or they leave, I could add that to what I'd go to try to collect. So it's good because I can make extra money on it, one, or it gives me leverage to use with the tenant. Like, hey, I won't charge you this fee if you just pay the rent that's due.
Yeah, that's great. So again, it's another opportunity for us to either make more money through our rentals or to continue to have good, strong communication with our tenants. Yeah. I love that.
Oh, I was just going to say, we're not attorneys. So be sure to check all of these clauses out with your attorney. Re-rent fee, as I described it, don't just put that in your lease. Definitely have an attorney review it. That's all I was going to say.
Great advice as always, Kevin.
Thank you, Coop.
And the third important clause that we want to talk today about is liability. Not necessarily ours as landlords, but we want to talk a little bit about the tenant's liability. So Kevin, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and I'm glad we're going here. This is pretty standard stuff, you guys. It's going to be in almost every lease you find. But what I think, our point here, Coop, is to make sure that you understand what your lease says and what this clause, the liability clause, is. And all it says is, hey, as a landlord, I'm not responsible for any of your belongings. You should get renter's insurance to protect your stuff. My insurance doesn't cover you, and I'm not going to cover you.
Yeah.
So I got a quick story about that. This was years ago. I had a tenant that was storing stuff under the kitchen sink. And really weird, like a CD player was stored under the kitchen sink. And then there was so much stuff stored under the kitchen sink that it kind of started messing with the plumbing. You see where I'm going with this?
Totally.
They created the problem. They stored stuff where they probably shouldn't. and the CD player got ruined, she called me very upset, wanting me to pay for that CD player. Is that crazy? That's crazy.
It's crazy, but it's not abnormal.
So it's real simple. Hey, let's just check out this one clause that's in the lease. We talked about the renter's insurance. You could probably file a claim for that piece of equipment if you want to, but we're really not going to be able to help you out with that one. And then that just went away.
Absolutely. So that's just a glimpse into what Kevin and I always look at every time we're renting one of our places to a tenant. We always are reviewing and updating our leases, making sure we have the most current leases, we have the right clauses in there. And it's a great opportunity for us to then, as we're reviewing our own leases, to make sure that we can then explain them to our tenants as well. So if you have any other questions on rentals, especially on hard money, Kevin and I would love to talk to you more. So you can reach out to us anytime at pinefinancialgroup.com.